What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just back in another video. This is your one-stop shop for anime and manga. Let's get into it. So basically, the idea for this video came from me just looking over different series that I've watched and different series that I've read, and just reminiscing on what I liked about them. Just trying to remember some of the stories because some of these series has been so long since I've read them, since I watched them, anything like that. When I was looking through my list, I realized there's a few different series that, as much as y'all know me, I love manga. I love reading manga. I think everyone should always, pick up some manga if you want to get into a series. I realized there was some that I pretty much would rather watch the anime over the manga. It's with those series that I was a little taken back because normally I prefer people watch anime. Even though I love manga, I think everyone should read manga. Normally I would probably say always watching anime first because 9 times out of 10 the anime is more accessible because you can always get Crunchyroll, you can always get Netflix, even if you can't pay for those services. Sometimes I think like Hulu might still be free. I don't know if it still is, for like the ads and stuff like that. But I think Crunchyroll still got their free membership, if I'm not mistaken, that of course comes with ads and things like that. But you can basically find these anime series, these episodes, a lot easier than it is sometimes finding chapters or sometimes finding these volumes. Y'all know me, y'all know I love me some manga. But I think there's a few series that if you're going to get into it, just watch the anime. It's going to be way better. You're going to enjoy yourself way more. And just these are a few series that I thought about when I was looking through my list. The first on my list is Demon Slayer. Now, we all know how crazy popular Demon Slayer is. We all know how, the next season was just announced, how everyone is crazy hyped for it. And I'm with y'all. I wholeheartedly believe I should just wait for these seasons, wait for the movies, wait for anything that comes out Demon Slayer. But when it comes to the artwork in the manga, it's just not that good. I don't know how they worked out some of these characters, but people like Tanjiro, Zenitsu, they just don't look the way they do in the anime. And especially the main reason I think everyone should just watch this anime is for the fight sequences. Don't get me wrong, I've read the manga, I pushed through it, I read everything. But I started off Demon Slayer with the anime first. So before I even got into the manga, I done watched, I think, the first 2 seasons that came out. And from all that, I just couldn't believe the differences between anime and manga because, as y'all know, I'm a little new into reading manga. So when I saw how crazy, how drastic the artwork is compared to the anime and the manga, I was taken back by it because I've heard different stories that the anime and manga are different from a story perspective, how the manga may explain a lot more or the anime cuts out parts, things like that. But I never heard something where it was the artwork and the animation just outclassed the manga. So when I saw that, I was taken back. I couldn't believe it. Even though I finished the Demon Slayer manga, I would have much rather just waited for the anime, watched it, enjoyed it. So when these seasons coming out, I'm definitely going to rewatch them again because the fight sequences are just crazy. The way they use, their different breathing techniques, the water breathing, the sound breathing, lightning breathing, beast breathing, everything just looks so clean. It looks so vivid. And the manga is a little more like jumbled together. You see all the different slashes and things like that, but it's just not as clean as it is in the anime. Like the anime is just crisp, it's just clean. And I think by far Demon Slayer has one of like the craziest animations that I've seen, aesthetically speaking anyway, because I'm not talking about the actual like animation. I'm talking about like the colors, the way everything flows, just the different movements, everything just looks better in my opinion when it comes to the manga. Obviously the manga is a static image, but it's crazy to think that all of the Demon Slayer anime came from the manga and it's just drastically different. The next series that I recommend just watching the anime, it has to go to Jujutsu Kai. I mean, just the fight sequences alone are way, way better when they're actually moving, when everything is going down. But this one follows the same breath as Demon Slayer. Some of the characters just don't look the way they're supposed to look, in my opinion anyway. Obviously, the manga came out first, but when you watch the anime, like I did, I started with the anime, I could not get into Jujutsu Kaisen. It took me a long, long time to just finally just deal with it and just read through it. Now, the artwork in the manga does get a lot better, but if you try to read it from chapter 1 to where it's current right now, you might struggle, especially if you've seen the anime, you see how crisp it is, you see how clean it looks. I'm not going to go too crazy big into JJK because it's basically everything I said for Demon Slayer also applies to JJK. It's just the artwork, the fight scenes, everything just looks cleaner, looks crisper as the anime. When the anime rolls through, when they take their time, they do these different fight scenes. While in the manga, everything is just so jumbled together. Everything is just happening all at once. And just the people in general, they don't look like the models, if that makes sense. Now, this is the last one that goes like with this type of art style and things like that. And that has to be Chainsaw Man. Now, the Chainsaw Man anime just dropped. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I am. But I love Chainsaw Man. I read Chainsaw Man when it first dropped. I fell in love with it. I think it's so good. But even I can admit, the different fights and things like that in Chainsaw Man, because it's so gruesome, because it is a little gory at times, you can't see what the hell is going on. There's been plenty of fights where I'm looking at Chainsaw Man, I'm reading it, and I don't know what the hell is going on. Because it's just him with his chainsaws, blood everywhere. He sliced up this devil, and now he's just going to town in this fight. When as the anime is just so crisp, it's so clean, you can actually see the different, unique things that he does while fighting. And that's one thing that I love about like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, is that when they animate them and they show these fight scenes, they take the time to actually show you what's going on. It's not just a crazy blur of a mess where you just blasted by colors and still images, how a lot of other animes are. These 3 animes specifically, they take their time to show you how good the actual animation is and how good the fights are. As for Chainsaw Man, the fact that it is so gory as it is, it's good as a manga, don't get me wrong. You'll definitely enjoy it. There's not really the difference between the characters like drawn like there is in Demon Slayer and JJK, but it's just the fights in general for Chainsaw Man. Everything else looks beautiful. The artwork looks incredible for Chainsaw Man. For this one specifically, is only the fight scenes. Whenever he becomes a chainsaw and he just goes to town killing all these devils, you can't see what the hell's going on. Those 3 are me basically recommending the anime because of the art style, because of the different fight sequences and things like that, where the fight sequences and art is just better animated than it is in the manga. These other 2 series, however, they're just a little bit different. I do think the anime is better from a storytelling perspective. And the first one is YuGiOh. Now, I'm not talking about, 5Ds, Zexu, all these. I'm talking about the original YuGiOh. Yes, that's right, the 4Kids dub. Even though the 4Kids dub has its mishaps with, obviously, the dubbing and things like that, as far as the show itself, I think it really does bring to light how fun the YuGiOh card game can be, because you see the holograms, you see the different ways that they attack, you see how everything goes through. Obviously, the first Duelist Kingdom arc in YuGiOh is crazy because they don't got no rules or anything like that. But the reason I'm saying this is because in the manga, they don't duel using the holograms. It's just them playing a card game on the table. And I'm pretty sure y'all not going to want to see just basically regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Where in real life where you just put the card on the table and just pass turn and things like that. You're not going to want to see that. Not for selling cards, not for enjoying an anime. You want to see a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Dark Magician just spawn out of nowhere with the holograms. Especially when they use these dual discs. It's just incredible the way they make that happen. The last series that I recommend watching the anime for is one that's probably not as well known. But if you've seen my videos, you know how much I love this series. And that's what's becoming my favorite Isekai, which is the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Yeah, that long ass name. For this one, I'm real torn between this because as much as I love the anime, I love the manga, they're completely different stories in the sense that the anime actually has a lot more character development than the manga, which is weird because normally it's the other way around. Normally it's the manga that has, all the character development. It has, these emotional draws to these characters. But in the manga, it's not like that. You can still get the same great full story from the manga that you would from the anime, but the anime actually makes you really feel sorry for some of these characters. It makes you really feel connected to these characters. As far as the manga, I don't really care who lives and dies in the series because I don't feel like I have that connection to them. Whereas in, the anime of World's Finest Assassin, I started connecting to these different characters. I'm not talking about just the main character who fell into the world, the assassin. I'm talking about his supporting cast. Even them, I see their backstory, I see their trials, their tribulations, and I just connect with them on a way that I actually would feel sorry if one of them was to die or if something was to happen. As far as this one, I really do recommend watching the anime first and then reading the manga, because once you watch the anime, all of it, and then once you read the manga, yeah, the manga surpasses the anime as far as like where it takes place, but you really gonna understand these characters way better if you watch the anime and use the manga as almost like a supplemental guide, if that makes sense. When I started this video, I wasn't planning on having like a top 5 or anything like that, but I guess that's what this is. My top 5 series that I prefer watching the anime over the manga. Now, of course, these are just my recommendations from me watching the animes and reading all the mangas for all these series. This is what I thought, my personal opinions. Definitely what you think matters. So if you think that some of these series you prefer reading the manga, go right ahead. I completely support you on that, because none of the series that I talked about today are bad in any media. So they're good as the anime, they're good as the manga. This video was more of what personal preference do you think is the best way to consume this series, whether it's the anime or whether it's the manga. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree with me, or do you think that some of these series are better as the manga? Or hell, are there any other series that you think were better as an anime instead of the manga? Thank you to everyone who's made this far in the video. If you're new here and you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so you don't post another video. Now, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.